Hello, I am Bones. It has been a while since I uploaded, but I am temporarily back. I've started this tutorial in a template, as I wanted to use the FPS system on Roblox. This is available to anybody. I've isolated just the crates and targets. This video, I will be going over a basic map layout for FPS games, fundamentals, and how to keep a steady workflow. The very first thing you want to do for a layout, or blockout, is to use a stud increment of 1. You can change this in the Model tab. I'm starting this off as a simple 1:1 ratio 124 stud square. I will make it longer later. We can just duplicate the basic parts over after, so keep that in mind. Before I continue, please remember this is the bare beginnings. Absolute basics. I will make a follow-up in the future going over detailing this map. You can see me scaling this now, but I won't keep it that way. I'm just testing as I go along. We want to add an outer layer. Keep everything 1 stud above the base layer height so it doesn't get overcrowded and hard to figure out your next steps. I know it's a bit contradictory to what I just said, but try to keep things really solid. For example, this outer wall border, 4 studs. We typically want walls like these to all be 4 studs, even if they are inside the map. Example will be shown later. Now that we've gotten our general map border, let's make a small spawn area. The fundamental side of this video will go over logical thinking of how the map will be made. Think to yourself. Will it be balanced? Does it give equal advantages to each side? Make sure there's always a few paths to go. Don't allow for any camping spots. We are just gonna make the spawn in the corner. Duplicate it over to the other side. Whoops, 4 gray squares instead of 3. Around this point in recording, I came up with the general idea I had in my mind for this map. But first we're going to halve it. This makes it easier to duplicate over as a margin, as we are just grabbing the whole thing and splitting it. But I just figured it would have 4 main large buildings in the middle, unenterable or traversable, more like blockades. Here I'm adding a secondary wall to give the map more depth. We don't want areas to be too open. Pretend you're playing. This would give you cover and peak angles. I'm going to be adding more structures to give an angle. Our map form will have side roads with a larger middle open section. For instance, we can make it so you can go around or through the middle of the map. We don't want these buildings to be touching the walls, as we want an open space to traverse. Keep in mind the avatar rig size. You want to actually be able to fit in here, maybe margin 2 rigs. So 8 studs. Just giving it an offset so it's not flush with the other building's face. Now we can just duplicate these over to the other side. And because we already have a 124 stud square, duplicating it is easy to fit. We can kind of see our map becoming proper form now. We do want to remember that our map doesn't need to follow these bounds. We can actually extrude it outside of the boundaries. This is called layering, as we are simply layering a second area to the map that is raised above the base layer. Here you can see we've cut out a small section of our wall. Let's make a small ramp area over here. This spot is good because it's not going to be in position to be shot from and allows safe traversal from the spawn to a vantage point. We want to have ramps leading up. Do it however you want, but this is a safe way to do it. Keep in mind, even if you are doing stairs, it is important to use wedges and then make the visual steps non-collidable. I'm speeding up this process as it's entirely customizable. However, try to stick to a guideline margin of keeping things clean and tidy with 1 stud increments. I'm finally adding a wall that leads us up to our second layer. This will be rescaled afterwards. Here I've just added more walls next to the ramp. You may want to do the same. We can now bring all the other walls up to the same height. It's important to remember playability. If this is a fast-paced movement game, crates here will help negate the pathway and make it a faster journey. Just buffing things out a little. Now we have a flat and clear pathway to work with. Let's just grab the red from over there and rescale it and move it up here as our ground plane. It's important not to make it too big, but also make it large enough to actually move around. We can increase our other walls to the same height. And add a little fence wall over this so it's not just a straight drop. This allows for depth to be made and giving a sturdier look to our blockout. We can add rigs to help us keep things size accurate. We can now simply duplicate this whole thing and put it over on the other side. Symmetry is somewhat important in maps like this, however this is only a basic layout. So I don't want to cover more advanced map styles and asymmetric layouts, not in this video at least. As this is still only my first series, the basics. As this is my 10th episode, I'll tell you all how I'm formatting my videos. Every 10 episodes I'll start a new series. Still all on Roblox studio building. However changing in difficulty. Such as basics, intermediate, expert. And maybe even leading up to master if it becomes super relevant. My goal is to be the largest builder tutorial YouTuber so I can help improve the Roblox games visually. And if you missed it, we are making more outer walls. Kind of just make sure you can't escape, put walls on all the outer areas. Now our walls are elevated everywhere, now we want to extrude our building blocks. We can do these randomly so there aren't any repeating buildings. Feel free to rescale them since they are technically duplicated. Now this is just an example of cluttering our scene, but since I only have these crates at my disposal, I will only be using them. Crates can be used as cover or to be used for movement and jumping to higher areas. As the middle opening is super open, I am closing the gaps by placing objects in here to make it less advantageous to any enemy shooters. Keep in mind, there is still a fully open gap where both teams can shoot from across the map, however it isn't unbalanced and it allows for no spawn killing from afar. I'm going to place these targets around the map. Let's give it a quick test. As I stated at the start of the video, I am using the Roblox FPS system template. Important to note, it isn't the most optimal template. Aiming is kind of bad and for some reason it frame locks and causes you to have bad aim, it just is hard to use. Why is he re-healed? Die. I'm actually a pretty good FPS player, and I don't want it to seem like I'm spouting nonsense, but I play a lot of games myself. So I not only know how to create one, but I know what the general player wants. For proof, here's a sickest montage of me playing Energy Assault. Now you're aware how awesome sauce I am. Let's wrap up this video. There's not much more to talk about. I will make more videos relating this topic in the future. However, this video should have taught you a clean and easy way to make a form for your map layout, the importance of integrating gameplay factors such as angles and advantages into your map, as well as making sure none of it is too open or closed off. I hope you learned something from this video. If you want more, please like and subscribe. Thank you. Goodbye.